Okay guys, so I've gotten to the last video of the series. I'm very proud of myself. Okay, so this video is about Saturn in the 12th house. So what I'm gonna do is, if you can't tell from the title, I'm gonna be giving you some quotes to kind of help you along your Saturn return. So Saturn in the 12th house can be a rather difficult placement, but it's not very easy to get our mind around, and it's not very easy to vocalize, to explain. I will try my very best. Whenever talking about the 12th house, I notice, or talking about Neptune, that I use very nebulous terms. And this isn't like, I'm not on purpose trying to do that, but I am a Neptunian person and I am a 12th houser. So I just noticed that this is a trend. So anyways, the 12th house is a house of the psyche. It is your deepest self. It is all the things that you repress, but without consciously trying to. It's your unconscious mind. It is where you go when you're asleep. It's the house of your dreams. It's also the house of seclusion, like asylums, hospitals. It is also the house of hidden love affairs. So if you have Saturn there, Saturn brings difficulty to whatever area of your life he is placed. So for your case, Saturn is coming into that very sensitive, very unconscious, very nebulous 12th house. So it could present in a different array of symptoms or difficulties. You could have difficulty sleeping, you could have difficulties dreaming, you might never dream, you might have psychological issues, just emotional issues that you aren't quite aware of. So that is the 12th house Saturn placement for you. So here are the quotes that I found that resonated with me as a 12th houser, and I hope that they could bring some just lightness to you along your path. So here we go. The first one is, I care for myself. The more solitary, the more friendless, the more unsustained I am, the more I will respect myself. Charlotte Bronte said that in Jane Eyre. This is one of my favorite books. And the reason why this resonated with me as a 12th houser is because generally 12th house people tend to be rather solitary because the 12th house is a really solitary place. And around the time of your Saturn return, you might find yourself feeling rather alone. And there is a difference between being alone and being lonely. When you're lonely, you are sad and you just don't feel comfortable with your aloneness. Being alone doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. You can learn to appreciate yourself and kind of just be okay with being really learning to cultivate that value in your alone time and in appreciating yourself and learning about the things you want to know. All of that can help you be more comfortable with being by yourself, and that would definitely be a good thing for you, Saturn in the 12th house. The next quote is, confront the dark parts of yourself and work to banish them with illumination and forgiveness. Your willingness to wrestle with your demons will cause your angels to sing. August Wilson said that. So around the time of your Saturn return, you might have psychological issues pop up that you kind of didn't really have a grasp of before. So learn to shed some light on them. So the 12th house is very dark and hidden. So around the time of your Saturn return, work on those things that are dark and hidden so that they don't just creep up on you randomly throughout your life. Explore them so that you become more familiar with them. And as you become more familiar with them, you won't be so scared anymore, and you won't have those fears or paralyzing situations anymore, because you'll be more comfortable with those dark hidden parts of yourself. Okay, so the last quote is, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. Carl Gustav Jung said that. Yeah, I guess he's saying that it's terrifying because we have parts of ourselves that are very harsh, and that's why they're repressed or they're unconscious. We try not to think about them. And when we learn to accept those things in ourselves, it's very freeing, because you no longer have something that you're ashamed of or that that is painful to you or embarrassing to you. If you truly accept who you really are, then you'll let go of that suffering. That is another thing that could be present if you have Saturn in the 12th house. You could have things in your psyche about yourself that you don't really want to touch or address, and you kind of know that it's there. There's like a lingering thought or a feeling that there might be something wrong, but you can't really pinpoint it, around the time of your Saturn return, if things do come up that force you to look at that aspect of yourself, go ahead and shed light on it and look at it. And that way it will no longer have control over you, and you'll feel more empowered and more comfortable in your own body and in your own mind. So those are all the quotes that I have for you, Saturn in the 12th house. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and look for my other 12th house videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.